2. Part 2. It is Hot Shots. Part 2. No, it's Pumpkin Porter. No, it's not even Pumpkin Porter. It's Pumpkin Beer.
Pumpkin beer. Well,
this almost is very Porter themed.
it is very porter themed.
Kind of by accident.
It's true. Well, I had bought this one, so you knew I was bringing this one.
And I'd already bought this one.
Okay, so
Things just happen.
it's sometimes it's just fate.
All right, so we have the second part and final part of our Pumpkin Beer podcast for 2013. Our videos for 2013.
The extravaganza.
The extravaganza.
The pumpkin extravaganza.
This is the one where we will not only try 2 more pumpkin beers, but we will then also drink the returning champion, the Pugsley Smashed Pumpkin. See if it compares, see if it still holds up. Always different styles. I know that's what
they are. I was going to say.
People are already screaming at us, I'm sure, like, well, Pugsley, that's just...
You're comparing
regular
porters a bit.
And they got 2 porters, and that was a lot. It's just all about what is the best, most flavorful... who uses pumpkin in the best way in the beer that they have made.
And it's our podcast. And we like your feedback, but it is our podcast. This is what we've chosen.
Yeah.
And, we're going to see what we're more in the mood for this time around.
That's right. And it could be something different. So that's what we've got for this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith, and we are AboutBeverages.com. And welcome to, like we said, part 2 of our pumpkin beer podcast. And this week we had the 3 beers that we will be drinking are 2 of them are porters.
Yes.
One is from Budweiser. I mean Red Hook.
I know that's something I always forget about when I look. I don't really buy Red Hook that often, but all of a sudden when I saw Pumpkin Porter, I was like, "Ooh, that's unique!" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Red Hook."
Back in the early days of my getting away from, I thought Budweiser and Coors and stuff, and trying different things, Red Hook ESB was one of my favorite beers, and that was a Sanderson recommendation.
Oh, okay.
I used to drink that, and then
the last time I've had a Red Hook.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I used to enjoy that. So, but anyway, so we've got the Red Hook Out of Your Gourd Pumpkin Porter.
Very clever. 5.8% alcohol, so nothing too crazy there.
Okay.
Again, sessionable to some of you.
To some, yes. We also have the Fermentation Without Representation, also a pumpkin porter from Epic Brewing Company out of Salt Lake City. This is a 7.7% alcohol. This is release number 7. They do a whole bunch of different releases.
Yeah,
they're up to
there's 14 different releases of this style, either from different blends or barrels or all that kind of thing. So definitely your mileage may vary depending on what is available at your store or what is there. Again, love the name on this beer.
Fermentation without representation.
When you texted me, you're like, they've got this. I'm looking for the pumpkin beers, and you mentioned, I was like, well, we've got to do that.
Actually,
too good.
It's an Imperial pumpkin porter, so I don't want to. That's probably why the alcohol is a little bit higher.
Now I'm even more excited.
7.7%. So that'll be the second of the 2 that we have not tried, and then, as Andrew mentioned before, we have our returning champion from last year, the Shipyard.
Yep, the Pugsley's Signature Series Smashed Pumpkin, which again 9% alcohol, so this one's getting up there too. They don't really mention that it's an Imperial of any kind. It's just got a little more alcohol to it. I can't remember. Do you remember what the price was on this? We kind of didn't go over that on the last show.
Pretty sure it's $7.99.
Okay. This one's usually around $9.99, the Pugsley. And this one I bought the single, and I believe it was like one of those $1.79, $2 kind of singles. So, 6-pack, you're probably talking $7, $8, something like that. So not too crazy expensive. The ones that we did on the last podcast, if you watched that one, or if you haven't, it was just a week ago. Go into the archives, AboutBeverages.com, and check that out. You probably
put it along the line. You probably realized we didn't say it, and you probably put it in.
I may have.
Maybe you did. You
we
never
could
know.
have.
Just like you've adorned us with this beautiful scene here.
The fall leaves are just so beautiful.
I
That's what
I should have my jacket on.
I wish... I wish we lived in a state that had some different... Well, actually, if I drove up north, if I drove up Flagstaff areas, if I could see some changing of the cactus leaves.
No, actually, there was a recent Arizona Highways magazine that actually was talking about how in parts of Arizona, we rival the Vermont, the changing of the leaves. But there were some people who didn't quite agree with that.
And they were from Vermont.
But one point they brought up is that when we do have fall here, it lasts longer. So you can watch. There's more time.
It's more of a gradual kind of,
to experience it,
that sounds
as
nice
opposed to So I like the looks of that. But anyway, so
I like that.
We're referencing our fall scene here. So
it's a pretty scene.
And our pumpkins coming in on this one.
We have our pumpkins.
No,
right
I
here.
know, but
we are beautiful. You mean these pumpkins?
Oh, those are the pumpkins I was talking about.
See, there we go. We got our pumpkins here too,
Yeah, to have a
which
little
is when I think
pumpkin.
of fall and harvest. That'll squash. It's just abundantly squash.
That's right.
All right, should we just get into it? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's be out of our gourd.
I think so.
Okay.
We are out of our gourd to try something from Budweiser. Jeez. Now I kind of feel dirty.
It does
Really
sort of
don't
feel.
know. But at least it is a porter.
But it's locally brewed.
Oh my gosh, are those commercials just not so disgusting?
We know the truth.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I just don't get it. That's one of those things, not to go too far into it, but it's like, who are you really like?
All of a sudden, there's a knock at our door.
Yeah. Anheuser-Busch just comes to our door.
The Budweiser Gestapo.
Yeah. Who do they think they're reeling in with that? You're not reeling in a craft beer drinker.
Right.
Because they don't care. And
the
someone else
Budweiser-
is already drinking Budweiser could care less.
Probably doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
care at
I
all.
don't care if it took 1,000 miles.
Maybe there's
to
a
get to me.
fringe person on there who's like, I want to start drinking something different because I've heard about this craft beer. Oh, these guys are local too. I didn't realize Budweiser was. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I think that just sounds like someone that wants to feel better about themselves because they're
that
not
could be
trying
too.
other things. But
Could be too.
well, of course, this one is a little darker than the other ones we've tried.
It's very dark.
Yeah, pretty brown, dark brown.
Yep.
Now, see, I've maintained a little more head than you have.
Oh,
I know.
well,
I didn't want to get too.
I'm a little older.
But with age comes wisdom.
That's right. That's
But
right.
I'd trade every dirty little thought in my head to have the old tush back. There's another reference.
That's right. That's right.
Wings. They don't have that on reruns, do they? Is Wings on reruns
It
anywhere?
was for a while. It was on USA at like 11 o'clock in the morning, but I don't think it is anymore.
Okay.
I haven't looked lately, but I don't think it is. Oh, that's a Fay line. That's right.
Yeah.
The nice roasty porter notes in there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's funny that we've come to this point in our pumpkin beer tasting journeys because remember I think our very first pumpkin wasn't it fall into Oktoberfest?
Yeah, it was autumn season beers. We did a bunch of porters and things of that nature.
Did we do pumpkin?
We had one pumpkin beer.
On that,
It was the Shipyard.
Okay.
And we were actually surprised at how decent it was, and we still liked it.
So now we're
not
now
the
we're,
Shipyard. Their regular one, the Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, but so anyway, it's kind of like a combination. Now we
gotten
had
so
porters
big
on there. We had pumpkin beer. Now there's pumpkin porters.
Oh, now
maybe there were at that time, but I don't remember seeing any.
I don't think so. I honestly think this has kind of expanded a little bit.
Okay. See,
definitely some like molasses. I'm getting the nutmeg. I'm getting a little ginger in this one again too.
yeah, the roasted,
allspice, cinnamon. You know, kind of that same kind of blend.
the roasted maltiness.
There's definitely a little bit more of a kind of obvious, but there's a darker edge to this one. There's a little, like I said, the sugar is more of that heavier, kind of aroma. The everything in there is almost not quite a smoky note, but there is that roasted, like you said, that porter is coming through.
Yeah,
It doesn't smell too bad so far.
it's not too bad. It's a little more shallow maybe than I would like it to be. There's not a lot of the flavors are there, but there's not a encompassing depth of those flavors.
Yeah.
But the flavors aren't bad. The spice, I think that sort of ginger spiciness is in there. And there's some nice maltiness. It's a little thinner than I'd like it to be.
It's a little drier
Personally,
than I thought it was going to be too. Like
a little bit dry.
Which ties more into that roasty that I was getting in the aroma. That definitely comes through a little bit more. There's a dryness to it that's kind of and a little bit thinner. The finish is kind of nice. There's not a lot up front.
Right.
Or I should say, there's more on the finish. The front end of my palate is kind of
right. It
left
doesn't
a little
sort of
wanting.
fill. It just kind of goes back and then hangs out.
There's no this would be kind of when you get into porter territory, especially with pumpkin and things like that. I would kind of hope for me a little more body, a little more coating, a little more kind of viscosity or something to it.
Yeah,
but that's not bad. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
It has kind of a sort of a sweet. Not syrup, but maybe like you said, maybe molasses, maybe a little brown sugar, sort of finish lingering there.
Yeah, I think I'd like a little more of that.
Yeah,
I'm wanting of a little more sweet.
Wanting of a little more sweet.
A little more sweet.
Nobody would get that one.
No,
but it
it's
is
our own reference.
I know
we can't do that. I don't think. All right, should we try
We're
another
iconic
porter?
enough, aren't we?
within our circle, I suppose.
That's right. Between us,
circle of the two of us.
That's right.
All right,
okay.
so we are going to set this one aside.
Yep.
there somewhere. And we are going to move on to the fermentation without representation, the Imperial Pumpkin Porter from Epic Brewing. It's part of their Exponential series. They've got not only several different ones within the pumpkin beer, several different batches or releases, as they say, but they've got a lot of different beers that they have under this category. They're a little more pricey, a little more, kind of, usually some barrel aging is involved or some heavier alcohol and that kind of thing. So
now I've had probably 5 maybe beers from Epic.
Okay.
Do you have Epic beer?
I have had 2.
I am thinking.
Well, I've had 2 of the other Exponential series. I should say that, and then I've probably had one other one. I've had. I think we've talked about before that Big Bad Baptist.
Oh, you've had that?
Yes.
Okay, I've had that. That's good.
Which is very good.
It's a little on the pricier side, but it's good.
It is very good.
I agree. That's one I've liked.
And then I had another one too, and I always forget the name of it. And like I said, I actually had it with a friend, and it was something. It was like a Scotch ale or something like that. But it was almost like an Imperial version because it was a little bit more sweeter. But it had a little bit of the smoky at the back. It definitely reminded me of it had a whiskey because I think it was barrel aged in Scotch barrels and all that kind. And that one was really good too.
See, I've had, like I said, I'd have to go back, and I mean it's from 4 to 6 of their beers, and like half of them I've liked.
Okay.
And the other, the other half I've been like, ooh. And I remember talking with Eric Gasson about, I can't remember which one from them he bought, but he's like, I took a sip. And he dumped it. So maybe we shouldn't be saying this to the people at Epic, but no. I mean, like I said, I've really enjoyed some of this, and so I'm kind of like, I keep thinking I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, and I've had one of their,
and I haven't had an Epic beer in a while now.
I think I've had
because of that.
Yeah,
the last one I had was a Big Bad Baptist, which was delicious.
I think I've had one of their IPAs, which was okay. It seems like when I gravitate toward Epic, I usually look for this series, like the Epic, like I said, the Exponential series. Those have seemed like the Baptist one, that other one, the one you're talking. Like I said, those seem to have done me right. The other ones are a little bit more, I think, hit and miss.
Yeah.
Just for what I'm, looking for. So, all right, let's crack this guy open and see what we got. Oh, it's golden. No, I'm just kidding.
Strike one.
Strike one.
It's not quite as dark as the previous, but it's brown.
Yeah,
it's brown, but it's not like
close.
This,
but it's not
like this was almost black.
There's a little more reddish in here.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting like a reddish brown kind of color. Like I said, if you hold it up to the light, kind of toward the bottom, I get a little bit of that kind of color. But still nice and dark.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Cola.
No. Smell the aroma?
I think there's like a chai cola smell in there. It reminds me of the Fentimans.
Oh, really? Oh, so you're getting some ginger in there?
Yeah. It reminds me of like the Fentimans chai cola, like the Fentimans cola.
Does yours smell like that?
Yeah, at the back end. At the back end, I get like the ginger and like cola.
Well, maybe what probably happened is I was like, barley wine, alert. Wow, there's something really sweet in there.
Yeah, but sweet, it doesn't always mean it. But it doesn't.
But it doesn't. Barley wine. I'm getting the barley wine alert sign.
No, not even. No. It's not
it's
even
there.
That close to that though. No, like barley wine though has a heavier vegetable, and I like barley wines.
You do.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't.
Very few, unless they don't taste like a barley wine.
That's right.
Hence Bigfoot.
Yeah, you know what? And now, but that was the first, and like I said, that's why I had to get past that. But then at the end, there's sort of
funny that hit you though.
Yeah,
like I said, an Imperial Porter. Like
I know, I'm just telling you. I know.
Okay.
But now, when I'm getting toward the end, is almost like a dark hickory barbecue sauce.
I'm getting a little bit of that. There's a little teriyaki barbecue sauce kind of thing. Yeah, a little bit of that in there. Yeah, with the sweet. If you think of a molasses or that kind of thing, and then you have all the different savory.
And that's probably where that barley wine thing is coming from.
I get a little cola in there, too, though. It's so funny. Like, it's not on the initial... you have to take a really nice, deep sniff like you're doing now. And at the very end, I get, like I said, like an RC kind of cola, or, like I said, that Fentimans. The Fentimans because of the ginger and the spices in there.
I just got a little, like from the Alaskan... the porter
The
that they
smoke-
do with
the
the
smoked
smoke
porter?
Yeah,
Oh, that's so good.
I just okay. So I'm getting
that just
now.
released too.
Now
I
I'm
need to
getting
get one of
some
those.
smoky, like smoky, really smoky roasted malt notes.
There's a little smoky at the end of that. You're right.
Yeah. So I'm okay. So here's what's happened: is we right when we opened this, it needed a little time to breathe for me at least.
Okay.
Whatever was concentrated in there were those high notes that I'm not a fan of, but now they've dissipated, and I'm getting some other stuff in there that, thankfully, I like.
All right. We'll see if you like the taste.
Okay. It's got some nice flavors in there.
Yeah. Do you know what really comes through that I didn't even get in the aroma, but maybe actually was making me think of cola now that I think of it? Vanilla bean really comes through.
I'm getting
That
almost
vanilla
like some,
bean is really
I'm getting
strong.
some chocolate, almost a little bit of chocolatey quality, which is then kind of weird because they shouldn't get that from a porter with
Why you can't?
a pumpkin porter.
There's plenty of chocolate malts in here.
Well, okay, but I mean, should that be the star in a pumpkin
Well, it depends
porter?
on your. Oh, the star probably not.
Okay,
I mean,
because that's what I'm getting too. I really like this.
Like I said, I get the.
but I don't necessarily think it's.
You don't get the vanilla at all, or you do?
No, I get a little of that
Okay.
and mixed with chocolate.
That really hits me first. Like I almost get because like all of a sudden there's that high, that light, sweet note of a real vanilla bean. Like if you have vanilla bean, like ice cream where it's made with it, they're that high.
Yeah, there is some, and it definitely goes.
Yeah.
goes real straight up.
And then I get some more of the smokiness in there, like that little bit. That smokiness is a little strong of a word. Oaky,
Roasted.
oaky, roasted kind of things are kind of going on there. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice. And the spices come in there. Obviously, you notice I've mentioned that third because that's not the thing that jumped
Right,
out
it's
at me at
yeah,
first.
it's not it.
I got a little more.
stronger
I got
one.
more of that in the aroma than in the taste.
And that's what I like about this one is that that you get the spice. And that's what I like about. We haven't talked about this yet, and we were going to try it, but none of you could have access to it. Andrew and his brewing partner Jason last year, because you didn't do it this
No,
year,
we
right?
haven't done this. You know,
They brewed a pumpkin pie porter, right?
Just-
and I normally am not a big fan of pumpkin beers in general, but that one I love, and that actually to me it's similar to this. I like yours a little bit more from what I'm remembering. I just had one a week or so ago because I think there's more
Lana
depth
stole
to
the
it.
other one the other night.
Yeah, there's more depth to it, but I really like their pumpkin porter. It'll be someday it'll be available nationwide,
That's
but
right,
not
yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
But
someday.
I like the flavors of this. I just don't know if I would. If you handed it to me, would you say this is a seasonal pumpkin porter beer?
That's what I was just about to get into. I would say, wow, that is delicious, but it would not make me scream out that it's a pumpkin beer.
Right.
To some of you, that may be a great thing. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I know a lot of you watch this, even though maybe you're not a fan of pumpkin, just because it's always interesting learning about other beers. This is a beer that definitely does not scream out as pumpkin. It's just a very well-crafted beer.
I think
A
that
very well-crafted, heavier porter. And I like this style more than the traditional. Like, to me, I like certain porters, but I like it when they're not quite as roasty. I like that as a bit, but I don't like that as like the full. Like I said, a really roasty porter to me is not as enjoyable. And this one kind of walks a nice line,
right.
of both of those.
I think now as I'm tasting this more and as it's opened up a little bit more, I think what I'm getting as that what I thought was that sweet, I think is actually the pumpkin. Probably that sort of vegetal squashy note and the sweetness of the pumpkin. That's probably what I am getting, but it's a high note that I don't think you could really define. Like I said, that I don't know if I'd know it if you just gave it to me blind and said try this.
Yeah, to me that sweet is just, it just jumps out as as vanilla. Like I said, I'm not, like I said, a little bit at the end, maybe I get some sort of squash kind of characters, but very little. I think it's a very good beer. It's delicious.
I'm getting a little bit of the heat from the ginger. I think from maybe
Yeah,
some
there's a little
ginger
bit of
at
that.
the end.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I like
That's really good.
I like the flavors in there.
that is
Yeah.
really good. Well, that'll be something to consider as we move on to the returning champion, the Shipyard Brewing Company, the Pugsley Smashed Pumpkin. This is a little higher in alcohol than even the last one. It's at 9%, like we already talked about. A little more expensive, but at least last year we thought it was well worth it. If that is going to be
Well, and then when it hung around for a little
something.
bit, weren't we able to get it for like $4?
I did.
I
get one.
saw it, yeah.
There was if you're lucky enough that some stores for some reason don't
Sell through.
kick out of it enough. Yeah, toward the end of the season, I think it was in like early December, and it's not a beer that, since it's not a lot of hoppiness to it, it aged fine. It was delicious, and it was like about half price. So I did not have a problem with that.
So now this is this year's version, though, right?
Yes, yeah, it could have changed a little bit. We'll find out. That's always a possibility.
Do we need a cleanser to go from this to that?
I don't know. We may have to find that out. Well, definitely, we're back into the other, the orange territory,
Right,
which
the coppery.
makes me think of a pumpkin.
Of course.
So they hit that on the nose for sure.
These are pumpkins at midnight. These are pumpkins in the day.
The darker side of pumpkin.
That's right.
Cloudy as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, it's not. But yeah, I guess you're right. It's a little bit. There's a little sweetness in there.
Oh, it's just so delicious. Sorry. It's going to take a second. I'm getting that buttery again that I remember we talked about last year.
That's the buttery cream.
That buttery comes through. Yeah, a little creamy. The spices are in there. I get the pumpkin part. Like I said, when it makes me think of, like I said, when we go over to your house every year for Thanksgiving and it's just the families together. It's like that's almost what this aroma brings back to me. Is just how awesome it is when we all get together at the holidays. Your house is just so perfect. We just hang out and we just relax and just enjoy each other's company, and all of that just brings it home, and that's what I get out of that aroma.
Get this in the glass.
That's right, I do. I get that in the glass. So I'm not coming over this year because I just have to buy one of these. Sometimes I find that truth comes in a glass.
Or a mug. Or your face.
So, good aroma then.
Yeah. It's a interesting
buttery. The buttery. Oh my God. This is so good.
Oh, where would that come from?
I honestly have no idea.
Malt?
I'm sure probably something. Maybe some sort of caramel malt or something like that. So maybe some crystal something.
So I'm not even going with that sip because I'm cleansing that. Ooh, but that was good.
I know. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter?
Did not matter.
Okay. It's sweet, but it doesn't leave you sticky sweet.
No.
And it's not overly spicy.
No.
But it's there.
It's there. It's the right amount of spicy. And what I love about it too is that even though it's, you look at it, it's lighter in color, all those things that would be maybe a little bit lighter in flavor or something like that. The body on this is just so good. That buttery, creamy, almost just comes through in the body, with whatever like I said, different things that they're using in their blend, their grain bill, I should say. It's just it's such a nice coating, and it's just so delicious. You get more body almost out of than some of the other ones we've had. You know what I mean? And it's that is really good. There's a little vanilla in that too, and like I said, the spice blend is really nice. It's just so well done, and then you do get a lot more pumpkin than I think you would normally expect. There is really some cooked pumpkin flavor in there that you get at the end,
especially as it warms up a little bit.
Yeah,
it just opens up. As anything, when you consume it more at a room temperature, or as it comes down from being really cold, or comes up from being cold, or down from being real hot, you get more of a chance to assess the flavors.
And that's the key to any really good beer. Like I said, you should be able to drink it at many temperature levels,
right?
I think,
right,
and experience other flavors. It shouldn't be like, if I don't drink this ice cold, I'm not going to enjoy it. If I can't,
right,
pop the other top that's on the top there, so I can just shotgun the beer into my mouth. If I can't do that, then I don't even want to drink it. If I can't vortex bottle this into my mouth, then I don't want to drink it. I don't know. That was funny though.
Well, over the 2 weeks, we've had 5 very uniquely different beers. Yeah. Even between the two styles of porter, they're very uniquely different.
I would agree.
It's not like there's an overlap of styles. So there's definitely 5 different things to choose from. So
yeah, I think so too. And what was nice this year is we've had some years in the past where we've had a couple of the beers and we're like, well, this one is not. Like, we already can tell, like, right away. And
Right.
actually, everything here would be something that I would drink if I saw this at a party.
Yeah.
Like that. Obviously, it always depends on other selections. But,
Yeah.
if I was in the mood for a pumpkin beer and saw any one of these, it would be something I'd be like, oh, I'll have one of those. That
they're
sounds
all
good.
yeah, they're all drinkable.
Yeah, I think they were all very drinkable.
There are I don't think there are any zeros among our.
No, there's nothing.
Five.
There's nothing here that we couldn't recommend to someone. Once they told us this is the kind of style I'm looking for, we've got there's many options here that you can give to someone.
Right.
But there is one that's better than all the rest. There is one that is better.
There is. Well, they're all, like I said, uniquely different styles. So
Yeah.
but there is one that probably is better than the rest.
I think so too.
But which one is it?
That's right. You'll have to wait till next week. No, I'm just
Dun,
kidding.
dun, dun.
Later at the Hall of
So, what are you wanting to give our?
I don't know. Do you do you think we're in agreement? Do you think we
I have a feeling because
or do you have a feeling you know what I'm going to say and you want to pick something different?
no, I don't think I want to pick something different. I think I know what you're going to say, and I think that I don't think. Yeah, no, I think I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to agree with that.
Okay. So then the victor this year that the spoils go to, which means probably more purchases from, at least myself, would have to be the Smash Pumpkin.
It comes back to
Comes out
win
on
again.
top.
This
Returning
guy
champion.
right here, Alan Pugsley. He knows what he's doing.
Is it actually Alan Pugsley?
Yeah,
I'd never
See?
looked at that.
That's right there.
Oh, how nice.
That's the Pugsley signature series. He's the brewer.
Well, he makes an
He's the
amazing
master
beer.
brewer. Yeah.
I should try some of the other ones. They have like a smashed blueberry and like something else.
Yeah.
Which initially that does not seem intriguing to me, but this beer is so amazing, I'm going to have to try one of those other ones. Yeah. This one, I would have to say, though, for me, if second runner-up would be the fermentation without representation. I don't know for you. Like I said, I know we were kind of starting to debate on almost, is it a pumpkin type
Right.
beer? But of everything we tasted, that was the one I enjoyed second.
This is a really tasty beer.
Yeah.
And it's hard to beat that. And this is very interesting. Now, the only thing is they change it all the time. So probably by the time, even if I were to go back to find one of these, I probably couldn't find this. It'd probably be...
You'd probably
And I don't know how varied they are.
Yeah, it might be something similar. Like I said, if you are looking for that one, it's release number 7.
Right.
Like I said, if you're looking for that one specifically, they have a great all this information at Epic's website, which we'll have a link to in the link lounge at AboutBeverages.com, and that's got all of the series. You can look at each one specifically, and then you can be at your local store and okay, which one is that? Did that one really do anything different? And kind of go from there.
And Vandalay Industries will be bringing that in.
That's right. We're the importer-exporter at Vandalay Industries. And the place where you can find not only all of the beers that we have tasted over the last couple weeks, but everything we have tasted over the many years that we have been doing this. If you're into the pumpkin thing or anything else, is at AboutBeverages.com. You've got tasting notes for all these beers, along with you can find out where they hit on our recommendation scale. But we have already given away what the winner is this year, is the returning champion. And it was a little more difficult this year, I think, finding pumpkin beers.
Well, finding ones that we haven't tried.
Finding ones that we had not tried.
Except for Lakefront.
Yeah.
Which was an accident.
But that was
That
an
was
accident.
different.
That was an accident, but we went back and looked at our tasting notes.
Yeah.
That one is very different.
It's different.
So
yeah.
I don't know if something has changed. They've done it. I like that way more than
Yeah.
What we had previously.
Yeah.
So, but whether we, I can't think of anything. Whether we like it or not,
You should give it a shot.